unique purpose with which we are born on this planet. So what I help people do is to help find their purpose and to live their mission. So it is that which helps you get out of bed in the morning with enthusiasm and say, I'm here, I'm alive, and this is what I'm here to do. That passion, once you have a purpose, it just shifts the energy and the motivation with which we live our life.
This is ANANTA AUM. Is that the right pronunciation of your last name? Okay. And thank you so much for being with us. I'm excited for ANANTA, whom I met. It was an art of God or the universe through the internet. Absolutely, it was. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps even now.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, it was through one of our business programs that we registered for online, and then with another group of beautiful ladies, and we just picked up like that. And but she is this very special, beautiful lady, and let me read you a little bit of what she is, who she is, and what she means to this planet right here. So ANANTA AUM is an authority on integrated spiritual living. She is a born clairvoyant whose training started at a tender age. What tender age? 2, 4, 5?
2 actually, but the actual exercises started at 7.5.
Wow. Okay. You're going to tell us a little bit more about it if you feel up to it. So whose training started at the tender age of a very young age with a great CDAC, physically immortal masters. ANANTA has trained with her cosmic guru and is here to share the message of divine love and purity of heart. Each of those words are beautiful. As a member of the Intergalactic Peace Program, her mission across lifetimes has continued to include collective ancestration and the protection of Mother Earth. I love that, and Earthlings alike. ANANTA is currently empowering light workers across 8 countries to find their purpose and live their mission in oneness of love and breath, and which is my mantra: one step, one breath. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. So ANANTA, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words and what you bring us today.
Thank you so much for having me here to be able to share this love with you and everyone who's listening to us today and in time to come. Thank you. There's an 8 billion plus population, and it's you and me and the listeners right now connecting. So what is the level of synchronicity that we're here in this moment together? It's beautiful, it's powerful that we've come here. And my journey began at a really young age, just as you mentioned, Laura. At 7.5, by the time I was 7.5, my training had been quite serious, and I started working with ascended masters and physically immortal masters. So to tell you a little bit about physical immortal masters, they are beings who took birth into a human body, an embodiment, but chose for the benefit of humanity and ascension to not give up, to not transition, to stay on in that body. And they've achieved very high levels of evolution. They belong to different parts of the planet, so they are not limited by any religion or region. And they, again, share that oneness of breath and love that I'm here to share as a medium as well. And as I grew up, I was a really shy child. I used to paint a lot, and I have 2 of those paintings right here, just to give you an idea of some of the paintings that have been. There's one here.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
And this one is called oneness, and it is oneness with earth, with every single blade of grass, every butterfly, every sky and leaf. It was this moment of oneness with every being. And from early on, I was very clear that I was here in service of the Creator. And it didn't matter what people referred to as, because there's so many names people refer to this Creator, Supreme Energy as. So the idea was not to let any sort of limitation come in the way, that we're all beings, we're all breathing, and we're all one. And just to allow everyone to experience that oneness and love. So,
you noticed that special skill or ability in you? Or was it your parents, or how did you realize that you were special in that way?
I truly believe all of us are special because we're made by one Creator as one. We're absolutely equal. And the difference probably was that there was an awareness at an earlier age, but it's the difference between a blossom, like a bud, and a blossomed rose, They're one and the same, but only the time tells the difference. So for me, it was at an early age, the recognition that I was here. I had consciously taken on this life to serve all my brothers and sisters of all species on this planet. And for many years, actually only until 10 years ago, after 10 years ago is when I started sharing verbally. Until then, it was only through paintings and through poetry. So the first book that we published is called Dying to Thee, and it was a collection of poems that were written from early on. And the idea was to help everyone recognize we're all special, we're all divine, and there's nothing different in any of us. We're unique, yes, because we're here to bring in that style that's so unique to each one of us, but there is no hierarchy, Okay. And
so why, for example, you were able to recognize this and others don't know? And yeah, it is said that we all have that special ability or those special skills and abilities, but we don't see it. How do we find it?
Yes, so it's about going with it and learning to recognize, tuning into the large data storage that we have of who we truly are. And during one of my sessions, I shared this beautiful, very funny video. There was a little baby rhinoceros that was brought up with a herd of sheep, and the rhinoceros thought it was one of the sheep and the goat, so it started jumping like one of them. And there was just such a difference in size and in form, but it was just so adorable that because the rhinoceros was brought up with that herd, it thought it was one of them. So similarly, many of us, we take on a human body. We are eternal beings, and we take on a human body, and in an effort to fit in, just like become a part of this process that we call life, sometimes we get so caught up in it that we forget our true nature, which is eternal. And that's when we start making the journey back in. And another important point I do share, it's not about becoming something, but really recognizing who we already are, because that energy that you were born with, going back inside and being rather than becoming, and dropping very slowly the conditioning, the expectations, misconceptions that we have about ourselves and life.
I know that you speak several languages, correct?
Yes, I do.
Do I remember correctly? Okay. Because of education and the different places, correct? I remember you mentioned that you went to study. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you were able to communicate and acquire those languages in order to further your education and serve others?
Yes. So having had this memory was because of past lives. Also, the languages that we all pick up naturally comes from a certain fondness for a certain region, you know, because of the many languages. How is it that you pick up or want to learn a particular language? Being in India, of course, it's very common that on an average people know 3 to 4 languages. So this is, you know, very, very common here. And in addition to that, however, I've learned French as part of my schooling through Alliance Française, which is an established university for learning French. And
Worldwide.
I do have soul family there, and it's just beautiful. I'm currently in a process of learning Spanish, which I truly love. I love the essence of it, the love and passion that
The
is in it.
romanticism and just like French, right?
And we also have children in Germany, so hoping to get to that language as well, because it would be so wonderful to communicate. As part of schooling, I've studied design, and very clearly, when I was at design school and I was doing really well at a premier design institute in the country, um, I wanted to run away because it was not what I was trained to do as a child. When I said that at the age of 7, I was being shown so many things. My masters, my trainers, my guru would show me people's past, present, and future. Or they could, I would have X-ray vision sometimes if they needed me to see an illness in someone's body and suggest what would help them. And this would happen because of them. It was not something I wanted or I could control. It would only, and it still only happens if it is meant to be a part of the process of helping in service. It doesn't come from a space of control or crime.
Okay.
And so when I was at design school, there was one day where I ran away and I said, this is not what I'm here to do. And there was this loud voice from the universe that said, go back and complete what you have started. And in time, you will, we are with you already, but in time, you will begin to be of complete service. So it took a long time after that for me to begin this as a 24-hour service. But until then, there was a balancing of many, many different aspects and different worlds.
Okay.
And yeah.
Which brings
so
me
that's
to
my education.
Yeah, no, wonderful. And then, so perhaps, so this brings me then to the present time and your business and
Yes.
how we met. And so you want to talk now a little bit about how you transitioned into that business of service, because that's basically what it is, and how you manage the difference between the business mentality and the service mentality.
Yes. Through surrender, I think that has been key for me throughout my life. That there is, and that's one of the key things that I would like to share with the listeners. It sort of segues right in, which is beautiful. That we all have a unique purpose with which we are born on this planet. So, what I help people do is to help find their purpose and to live their mission. So it is that which helps you get out of bed in the morning with enthusiasm and say, I'm here, I'm alive, and this is what I'm here to do. And of course, there are days you take breaks, but that passion, once you have a purpose, it just shifts the energy and the motivation with which we live our life. And oftentimes people believe that a purpose has to be something very grand and big and massive, but it doesn't. Oftentimes, actually, a purpose is very simple and very day to day. And that's one of the misconceptions I help people overcome and find what their individual unique purpose is. And of course, it varies from person to person, age, gender, all of that.
I was going to ask you that next. How do you manage the difference? And we still have to talk about the business side, but how do you manage the difference between the different clients or people that come to you to help them? Um, Perhaps you can give us an example of a difficult time that you had with particularly one of them, if you can recall any, and how you managed that, how you handle that. Because it's happened to me, and the end result is that, oh my God, I learned a lot rather than me
Okay.
trying to, you know what I'm saying? So in your case, what would that experience have looked like?
Okay. So, like I said, I've come from a space of deep surrender since childhood. So there have been, I think one of my challenges was in the early stages to learn that not everyone is going to have that level of synchronicity, like just the way you and I connected was so beautiful and free flowing, right? But there are times when, the sun shines really bright and someone doesn't want that sunshine into their house. So they draw the curtains and they want to sit, they want to be comfortable in that space without the sunshine coming into their room. And that was something I had to learn and say that it's okay. And a beautiful conversation I'd like to share in that context, which prepared me for that challenge in context of it was in my third year of design school, a girl came up to me, a classmate, and she said that, I've been watching you since the very first year. And when I first saw you, I thought you were completely fake. And then as time passed by, I realized that you were being authentically kind and sweet, and that's who you are. So I said, okay, I hadn't realized that someone was paying so much attention on, the way I was and the way I was behaving with everybody. I was just being myself. I didn't go out of my way. And then this sweet person, she said that, but you're too sweet for me. I'll get diabetes if I hang out with you. So I'm choosing not to. But I just thought I should let you know. And I deeply honored her honesty because she clearly told me that it took her time to trust me because of her background. It took her time to come and have this conversation with me. And at the same time, she was very clear, drawing her boundaries, saying that, I like you now and I respect you, but we still need to keep our distance. Mm-hmm. And that was a really strong life lesson for me, that conversation, because growing up, I really wanted to share this love and this light and this joy, but not everyone may be ready at that time or in the style, and that's okay. So when I surrendered to that source that is bringing these synchronicities, people who weren't meant to connect naturally dropped out. So there hasn't been, with the grace, there hasn't been a situation where I had a person where it got difficult.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about it in another interview with someone. Not everybody has to like you. And sometimes it hurts.
Absolutely, yes.
It hurts because we're humans, I guess, but it hurts because you think like, I thought I was giving my best. I thought I was providing the best possible information that I could, or being the most authentic person that I can be. And then, you realize that not everybody can like you, just like you feel some sort of you want a distance from certain people also, and even if you don't want to, or you feel guilty for it, but I guess it's part of the whole interaction of humanity, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the moment you start looking at things from a higher perspective, and I'm very grateful for my masters to constantly guide me, to my guru who has been a constant support, that every day reviewing what happened in the day, looking at it from what did I learn today and what is it that I could do better. That has been a constant source of learning this process. So looking at it from the top view, everything is connected. At the same time, everything cannot come to you in the way you may expect it to come to you, because it's not meant to. And the right people, the right support system, the right opportunities will always come your way. And the moment we start tuning into that,
absolutely,
you really let go people who don't work for you, whether it's relationships or job opportunities or even homes. If you're renting out some place and it's not working out and you suddenly have to shift homes, trust that it's for a good reason, because there is always something good waiting for you.
Yeah, and you mentioned reincarnation before, and you said that some of the things that the languages that you bring is perhaps because of other lives, and also isn't that also part of your interaction with people that perhaps you meet again and because
Absolutely.
of another life? So how do you link that together? And tell me a little bit about that reincarnation concept that many people they think they believe, but they're not sure. Some believe, but they don't know why, and some completely don't believe.
Yeah. So I think it's all a matter of experience. Like until one experiences any sort of emotion or concept, it's just theory. So even, where everyone at some point in their life has looked at a person and said something is, vibing right in terms of the language that's used, or it feels right to me, or, I feel drawn to this person. So these are words that people may use. There's a certain attraction sometimes. Many a times people misunderstand a spiritual attraction for actually, they misunderstand it as being a physical attraction. So that because we have only understood relationships from a human perspective so far, but actually, if we go a little beyond it, you realize that there's something beyond that physical attraction. That whether it's in friends or family, there's something deeper that connects us. And that connection is from a prior time. And
Yeah, in my case, I just believe in it. Don't ask me why, how, I mean, who told me to believe in it. Who I haven't had any particular experience that would tell me, oh my God, of course. It's just a belief, a
yeah,
very rooted belief
yeah,
that I have in that. And yes, I have been exposed to different cultures and backgrounds, and I still believe in that. And I tell my family, my daughters, and everybody that want to talk to me about it, it's like I believe in reincarnation. Oh wow, you've had no, I just believe it.
yeah, yeah.
So that's in my particular
So
experience.
that's beautiful. So here's an experience that we can take you and the listeners through. Okay, so think of the fruit banana. Close your eyes and think of the fruit banana, and you can picture it, imagine it, visualize it, think of the way it, the texture, the smell, and all of that, the color. And now think of this rural fruit that we get called hakabula.
What is that?
Hakabula.
And what is hakabul?
Yeah, open your eyes. So you see, it's only that which you have experienced that you can imagine. Because you've
Okay.
seen a banana in some prior time, that you know that you can see it again or connect with it at any level. But you don't know what a hakabula is.
Oh, I thought it was me. I thought it was me, but I don't understand what she said. Okay, I see your point. Yeah.
Yeah. So at any given point, if we have a sense of knowingness, which is different from knowledge, knowledge comes from the mind. Knowingness is here,
Oh,
in the
more
core.
emotional, less mental. Yeah.
And you don't necessarily remember when it happened or where it happened. You just know it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what it is.
That's it. Hakabula.